everybody. Welcome to the ITM Podcast that's technically untitled. I'm sitting here with residential cuckoo expert Michael Muse.
What does that mean?
Conjuring Cinematic Universe.
Whoa. I didn't even realize that.
I heard somebody say it.
Wait, did you say cuckoo?
Yeah, cuckoo.
Conjuring Cinematic Universe. Where's the second U? Oh, they just used the
They must be going with the theme of poor decisions. Like in the movie.
And hitting the hot topics, residential expert Heath Thompson.
That's me.
Yeah. And I'm your MC podcast host, Jason Thompson. And
no relation.
Yep, no relation. Look at this guy. Alright, so we saw The Nun, and see, I'll let you guys talk about it, because you guys, I haven't seen any of the Conjuring movies, so I don't really know what to expect, but why don't you guys go ahead and start it off?
Well, I had very high expectations because the trailers and the teasers looked really good. And especially when they first started teasing it in the last Conjuring movie, I thought it looked really good. So I've been waiting for this movie for like a year. So I was super excited for it.
Well, when you say the last one, are you including like Annabelle?
The Conjuring 2.
Okay,
I think they teased it the most.
Was it
in
that one?
Because like she actually made an appearance. Like.
Oh, okay, yeah. Okay, that makes sense. Yeah, I just, for anybody who doesn't know, in the Conjuring, the cuckoo, whatever,
the cuckoo,
the Annabelle movies are within that.
Yes,
so I don't know which one was the most recent opposed to the.
I think the most recent.
Conjuring 2 is the most recent.
I think it was Annabelle Creation. The second. Sure? I'm pretty sure, because I just know that because the director of Shazam directed Annabelle, and that's how he got the job for Shazam.
Alright, we'll keep talking. I'm gonna look it up.
Alright, so he's really. Alright, you know what? We should basically just say alright. How did you feel about the movie, The Nun?
The Nun was garbage. Garbage. We actually we do a little bit of, we have a rating scale of expectations and then reality.
Yeah.
And my expectation for the movie was kind of like Michael. I was expecting it to be at least a B.
Right. Because just like how the franchise have been, right?
Yeah, and the Conjuring, the original Conjuring was amazing. And I actually have a story about that if we want to get to it.
Yes.
Then Annabelle came out, I think, and then The Conjuring 2, and then Annabelle Creation, which actually, I didn't see the Annabelle Creation movie, but The Conjuring was the first movie, scary movie in a long time that actually like kind of scared me. Like, I was scared in a similar way to when I watched the original Exorcist, excuse me. Back in like when I was 11 years old.
Are you talking about
it was a horrible decision.
The first Annabelle movie?
No, the first Conjuring movie.
Okay.
It scared me to nearly to the same degree.
That's high fucking praise, because when it came to The Exorcist, when I first saw that scared the shit out of me.
Oh yeah.
That face still scares me. Like, you know, like those it made it even worse. Like, remember like back in like the early 2000s with like the jump scare email things, kind of like with the promotion.
They would use the girl's face.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, when somebody did that to my sister and stuff, sent that email to her and she clicked it on. Well, like I was out in the living room because it was, of course, the family computer.
Right.
And it just popped up and scared the shit out of us. Like we just unplugged the PC from the outlet because we didn't know how to get it off, and somehow the computer, the hard, like everything on the motherboard, like fucked up.
Oh, I bet. That reminds me of like, you remember the videos of like people doing the colorful maze, and all of a sudden they like get to the end and that face pops up and one guy like freaks out and punches through his mouth.
Oh yeah, I remember that.
Kind of stuff.
Yeah, that. Oh man, back in the day.
Back to The Exorcist though, I honestly have never been that afraid of that movie. It wasn't a bad movie. It just didn't stick with me and like creep me out like a lot of people say.
That's a shame.
When did you see it? Did you see it at a rather young age?
Yeah, I mean, my dad had me watching classic horror movies.
Oh, yeah.
That's how
you've
I
been deep.
That's when I saw Texas Chainsaw Massacre.
You were raised on those movies. Well, yeah, that's okay. Well, it wasn't helpful that my dad, because I was living in Maine at the time. I was born and raised in Maine, for anybody who doesn't know. And like I watched it went at my friend's house down at his like shoreside cabin, so it was a pretty far walk up to his like main house. And I was with a bunch of my friends at the time when we all watched it. We were all pretty scared, and I couldn't go to sleep. So I had the audacity at the time to like sprint up to his house from the shore and like sleep in his room, which is across the room from his parents. and it just like completely freaked me out. And then I get home and my room in this giant like 200-year-old house is at the very end of the hallway, away from my parents and even my brother. And I'm like, God, this movie scared the crap out of me. I haven't been sleeping. I was talking to my dad about it, and he was like, "Oh, don't worry, it's just based on a true story. Like that, like kind of shit, like is, kind of real. So there's nothing to really worry about. Like there was a good ending to the movie, right?" And I was like, "That." All I heard in all of that was it's real. So that didn't help me. That just that's a terrible advice for your 11-year-old son, Dad.
No, it's based on a true story, so that could happen at any time. Like it could just happen to me right now and stuff. Didn't it have a happy ending?
Yeah, exactly.
The guy fell down the steps. It was great, right? All right. So with The Nun for me.
Yeah, back to the original.
The Nun, since like I said, I haven't seen any of these Conjuring movies. The Cuckoo, I haven't been stepping in this universe whatsoever. I didn't like it. It was pretty generic, cheap.
Oh yeah.
There were a couple of aspects where I'm like, wow, this has great potential.
Yes. They had tons of potential.
Like when they would jump to like the next like scene, like set piece and stuff, you're like, oh shit, this looks pretty cool. How the environment that looks right now, like everything. Then it's like just immediately goes downhill each time.
Yeah, they like set you up, like they kind of softball it to you a couple times.
Oh
too.
fuck yeah, they do.
And then like my imagination was like running wild. I was like, oh man, how are they gonna do this? How are they gonna do that? How are they gonna tie that in? It was just a letdown every single time.
Then how they ended it up with is just like you just see the nun at the end of the hallway, just like not doing anything, just kept going closer, then it won't go away.
Like we agreed, it relied on jump scares too much.
Way too much.
Like it had,
and even then, it was too predictable.
Right, like you knew it was coming.
Ugh.
But there was a couple scenes where they could have done like that real, actual creepy, like that shit's creepy to look at.
Like give me chills, kind of creepy.
Yeah, like I think there's a couple scenes where
they tried to do that, like with the nun, where the French Canadian guy.
Oh yeah, fucking.
I'd say like
Frenchie.
a couple scenes where they would have the nun at like the end of the hallway and like that creepy church.
Yeah.
And like she would be
like
coming closer.
Like the Gregorian chanter guys.
Yeah.
No.
Yes, exactly.
Yeah, those guys.
And like she was getting closer, but then like they would ruin it somehow by like, cutting
turning
it
away.
too soon.
Well, yeah.
It was
there was so
I get what you're saying because like they would do that like the first 2 times you see that you're like, oh okay. Then every time you saw the nun, it was like that. Going, ooh, every time it was even like she could just not even be in frame fully, it'd be ooh. So you knew every day, you knew when the nun was coming. They did it way too much.
Yeah, at first I was like, that's a creepy fucking sound, but by the end of the movie, I'm like, just stop.
You're just like, fuck off.
Yeah.
But the movie had such a good premise, and just like the setting itself.
It's
like,
such a basic premise for
this old abandoned abbey in the middle of Romania.
Yeah.
Like that, they could have done so much with like the atmosphere.
Yeah.
Oh,
okay. Let's. Oh, I squeaked a bit.
Should we go beat from the beginning to the end?
Yes, we should do a play-by-play of what's
all right. So
before we get into that, no, I'll tell the story when we reference the first Conjuring.
Okay, yeah. We'll get towards like you know what? It'll be probably that's how the meat at the end of this.
Yeah,
because just like how the movie ends, Whoa! Don't want to go too far.
Exactly.
All right, so the movie starts with
an old nun and a young nun.
Yes.
Walking down like in a catacomb like scenario.
Yeah, with a bunch of crosses
everywhere. Hanging from the ceiling, leaning up against the wall.
Wait, before I forget, I need to say that's starting to become a cliche that I'm tired of. Is like the crosses on walls turning upside down.
Yeah,
that's starting to be done from
when it happened with the girl that we were watching the whole time. I forgot her name. Irene, I think, is her from the movie.
In the movie,
Tiny Flamingos.
Yeah, the name's Irene in the movie. When it shows like her like for her first like time getting haunted in the house. You see the cross like turn behind her and stuff. I started chuckling because I was so just like you're just not even focusing. You just see.
And you're just like, okay, something's gonna happen.
It's just like somebody's here. I couldn't tell from just seeing the one priest. Hang on, I'm jumping forward again.
Yeah.
Let's go back. All right, so old woman, lady, nun.
And the young nun.
And the young nun goes towards this door that says, what is it?
I don't know.
God ends here.
Yeah, I don't know what it is in Latin, but it's
it says God ends here.
Cliche as hell.
Bit.
No. You know two
I
Latin
don't
phrases.
get it. I just want to be part of the laughter because I'm lonely and scared at heart. So back to the movie.
That's a different podcast.
It's this podcast for a reason. So the nun opens the door, and she's like,
she's got this like key.
Yeah, she
It's
unlocks
some
it
sort
with
of
this
like relic.
Yeah, strange key that only opened this door, I'm guessing.
Well, yeah.
I would think. So she says, like, I'm gonna go in here. You stay out here. I'm gonna keep the door open. If I scream, close this door. Here's the key.
Yeah.
And the nun's like, you got it, boss.
In so many words.
In so many words. Well, then, of course, you start hearing the screams.
Of course.
And, you know, it is kind of, I'll be honest, I'm kind of like, alright, I'm down for this. You know, like, the nun's killing her.
What's happening?
Yeah, what's going on? Then the young nun just runs away without even closing the door when, like, I forgot. The old nun pops out like, get the fuck out of here!
Yeah, she's all bloody.
Yeah, she's got, like, scratches all over her face. She's like, get the fuck out of here! So the young nun just starts running without even closing the door behind her. So I'm just kind of thinking, like, what the fuck are you doing? Close the door! She gave you the key, just locking him like, fuck this, and go away.
No logic.
No logic whatsoever. Then she's like, well, okay, I'm gonna put this noose around my neck. And because the nuns already opened the door again, I don't know.
Yeah.
Because it showed, like, the door closed, but then it opened
door to
again.
her room.
Yeah, that's it.
Right.
Yeah. So...
Well, didn't the old nun say, like, she said, like, you know what you have to do, like, it needs a vessel. So, like, apparently these are the last two nuns to fight this demon.
Yeah, you're right. They did say that at the beginning, didn't they?
Yeah.
And that was the twist at the end of the movie, that, like, with the nuns
well, hang on,
finding out, technically.
Don't get ahead of it.
I'm sorry, but I just realized how dumb they gave us the twist. Never mind.
Yeah.
Alright.
Yeah. We'll get there.
We'll get there. Okay.
So, so the reason that she's running back to her room with this relic or whatever, she's like, you gotta keep the
vessel
old
and
nun
everything.
and tell
So
the young one, like, you gotta keep the key, you know what you gotta do, it needs a vessel, and the young one's like, logically, I don't want to.
Yeah, I'm gonna kill myself. So that's what she does. She kills herself after she sees the cross turns upside down. 1 out of 10 in this movie.
10,000.
10,000
All
crosses.
the crosses. All the crosses. So she hangs herself outside of her window, and she's like hanging over the front door, like entrance of the abbey.
Yeah. So cut the next day, we see our great, wonderful character that we're gonna be through with this film. One of the great side, hilarious characters. Yes.
I just need to clarify. It wasn't the next day because remember her body was like rotting.
Oh, that's right.
Remember, like her neck, like
wasn't it like
and her body
3 days afterwards? Couple days.
I don't even know. I forget.
All right. Let's just say about couple days.
Sometime after.
Sometime after. Our favorite character named Frenchie comes up.
Frenchie, a.k.a. Maurice.
Yeah. Was that his name, Maurice?
It's Maurice.
Yeah,
because he's
Taissa
Canadian.
Dominguez's character just called him Frenchie.
Well, they all did because
he's
Yeah,
French.
yeah.
You can call me Frenchie.
But let's not spoil.
Everybody does.
He's a French Canadian.
Yeah. Oh, man.
Don't tell any of the Frenchmen. Alright, so he sees the body hanged out. Which, I'll be honest, the imagery of that, I was like, okay, that's cool.
Yeah, the movie started off strong.
Yeah, it started off real strong. But then... Let's go there. So, now we cut to what? We cut the Rome now after that, right?
Yeah, we're at the Vatican after he discovers the body.
Yeah, with the... What's that father's name?
Father, I don't give a shit because he was...
Father, I'm going to just quickly say this. That father was so terrible at his job.
Yeah.
As being a priest and trying to do exorcism, he was terrible at his job.
We'll get there. Father... Shite, what's his name?
He was in... I do remember, he's from the Hateful Eight. He plays the Mexican in the Hateful Eight.
Does he really?
Yeah. So should we call him Father Mexican?
Let's call him Father Pedro.
Father Pedro!
Let's call him Deacon Juan.
Deacon... Alright, so the Holy Deacon Juan...
Is at the Vatican.
Yeah,
He gets summoned.
Yeah, he gets summoned to find... how do you pronounce her name again?
Taissa Dominguez.
Taissa Dominguez.
Well, what a name.
It's a mouthful.
Sure.
Yeah, they basically they told him like, hey, go find her. She can help you. And he's like, okay. So they go to London now, where they find young Famiga, and she's not a nun yet.
Right.
Which I do like.
She hasn't taken her vows.
Yeah.
And this, I want to pause here and maybe discuss it a little bit. I thought that was interesting immediately.
I thought so too.
Because as soon as I heard that she wasn't a true nun, or like she hadn't taken her vows yet, I thought to myself like, oh shit, this is gonna come back to like bite the good team in the ass, because she could be like easily possessed because she doesn't have like the Jeebus on her side. You know what I mean? Like, there's gonna, what's the twist? This could be played in so many different ways. Like, everyone's got a dark past that demons love to exploit. Just the fact that she's not a full-on nun. Target numero uno, baby.
But I feel like they
weakest link in the chain.
I feel like they didn't do anything with that though.
That's what. Yeah, that's what I'm saying. That's one
nothing
of
happened.
That's one of like the softballs they could have just lobbed up and just knocked out of the park, but they just didn't.
Like, just her like not really like fully committing to is just also like a big thing too. Like her also going against this and stuff. This probably might like help her fully commit going against the nun later on. But we'll get to that point.
It was.
Like you said, they didn't do anything with it. It was just like, hey,
grievance numero uno.
Yeah.
Right there.
All right, so Holy Diego gets to
Deacon Juan.
Deacon Juan, yeah. Holy Deacon Juan gets to young Flamingo. I keep forgetting the name, but yeah.
Well, then that's where we also learned that she can like see premonitions.
Oh,
and that's when you're like, oh shit.
Did he say? Did they talk about it then?
Yeah,
I thought it was like later.
It
was
might
it later?
not have been. Well, yeah, I don't think it was right then because she was talking about how she kept having dreams that weren't the same, but like they would.
But she always had the same thought after each dream.
Right, and like they were like visions.
And that's when the father was like, then obviously they sent me here for a reason.
And then I guess that kind of comes into play because like the nuns weren't really there when they got there.
Well, we'll get to that part because that's the big reveal towards the end.
That's the M. Night Shyamalan.
But wait, okay, sorry, I have to say this before I forget though. But the other people saw the nuns too, didn't they? At first, they at least saw that one older lady
in the beginning, the one that sat in the chair.
Oh yeah.
So was she really there?
I think that was.
I don't know.
Because everyone saw her.
Valak? Is that the name of the demon? Master of Serpents or something?
Yeah, that's the name, but I don't.
Alright. Remember Valak, right? Yeah. Remember that. Because I was looking up something because, like I kind of want to get like a little bit of research on like talking about this and stuff.
Sure.
So, but I read this up. With them saying the demon's name, Valak, right? That's the main demon's name. Isn't the rules in The Conjuring that if you say the name, that weakens the demon?
Yeah, like you have power over them.
That might have just.
It's like a Rumpelstiltskin kind of thing.
That might have just been specific to a certain demon in one of the movies, though.
Okay.
But this is the same demon. Like this is the same demon from The Conjuring 2, which she's like, I know your name, which gives me dominion over you. I cast ye back and banish ye back to hell by myself. I don't need anything but me and your name. Rumpelstiltskin, Rumpelstiltskin, Rumpelstiltskin.
Oh wait, no, that's not the nun though, is it? That was that old lady that was haunting. Oh shit, never mind. I'm thinking about Insidious completely. Never mind.
They might as well be
different franchise.
Yeah, wow.
Same, different, but still same.
Yeah.
Same. Alright.
So
they get to Romania. They meet Frenchie.
Yeah, so they go from London. Now they're in Romania.
Yeah, they meet. Yeah,
and they meet Frenchie, and Frenchie's like, "Oh, I'm your guide. I'm really smooth with the ladies. You can call me Frenchie."
I like how basically how creepy he was with like her.
Oh yeah.
He was just like oh hello, why don't you go back to my shed and stuff? Let's have a little fun and shit. Then he's like, she's a nun in practice. Whoa. But that's a shame because I bet you got a rocking tits underneath that. No.
Something like that.
It's fucked up. And I was just sitting there like this doesn't feel right. But
in this climate?
You're
saying that shit?
Jesus, dude, you just found out she's a nun. Pit your dick away.
Relax.
Alright, so...
Your pants, Frenchie.
And I do give it this. The guy was hesitant, the Frenchie was, with the whole, like, going back up there and stuff. I did respect that, at least, but then... What did they do? Didn't they just offer him more money? And he's like, yeah, sure.
That or... Baby Nun was like, yo, I'll show you these perky tits. He's like, I'm in.
I didn't take my vows yet, so check out my pierced clit.
Oh, okay. I don't even remember.
Look, the cross is turning upside down.
This podcast just went up a rating. I'm sorry, under 13 audience.
You'll get it one day.
It's 13 and over, strictly. Always has been. That's the rule.
That's what I want.
Teenagers.
scared the living shit out of me.
Got him.
Yeah, my Chemical Romance. Alright, so now they're on the trail to the castle church thing. Abbey. And shit.
Scary movie cliche like number 5 at this point.
Of course.
Why did we stop? Oh, the horse won't go any further because the horse has a sixth sense.
Yeah, the horse can sense and smell the danger.
The horse won't go any further. It's like, oh, God, and I have to trek through the woods.
It's definitely, let's go. So they walk, they get there, and they're like, okay, wow. Crows, 6 horror trope, of course. Crows everywhere just going, Everywhere. They get inside. You know, he's like, here's the dead body. And they're like, okay. He's like, hang on, Father. That's not how I had her.
Oh, okay. So we have to
that was setting up. Yeah.
So it was hanging when he first found it, and then he like, put it in like the freezer part of the abbey, which I don't know how you turn any part of an abbey into a freezer. Didn't know they had central air. But
they don't, but they have very cold air around them.
Maybe.
They have giant blocks of ice and just like
that's
freezer.
What it is.
Yeah.
But anyway, she's in this freezer area, and well, before they even go there, they like check the blood where the body was.
Oh yeah, there's blood that's fresh still.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Which
I forgot about that.
That was pretty interesting. I was like, okay, whatever. I guess I could believe that. Like that's out of the realm of possibilities of the supernatural. So like, I'll throw you a frickin' bone on that one.
But then, like, still, that's one of those things, like, it seems like they're setting up for something else, but it never goes anywhere.
Yeah.
But, like, later they say there's more blood here. Where'd it come from? But that's...
It would have been cool. You know what? It would have been cooler if, like you said, like they keep setting it up. Like when one of them was running away, they slipped on the blood. That would have been a better payoff than nothing.
That would have brought that piece full circle.
Yeah. Oh fuck yeah! And like she gets up, like she's just covered in blood. She's like, "Oh darn it!" and just keeps running and stuff. The nun comes up, it's just like.
They should have had one of those scenes in the movie. Like,
oh my god!
Doors in a hallway.
And just that'd have been
There's a name for that, but I can't think of it.
Isn't it a hootenanny?
No, it's
like a
marionette
for like that like. I have to look it up now. Okay, while I look it up.
Oh yeah, something done. So fresh blood, blah. They go into freezer room area, whatever. Father goes up.
Yeah.
And he's like, and like French is like, hang on, Father. She was laying down the last time I was here. Now she's sitting up. What, you got it?
Oh, well, wait. Hold on. The name of the song is Benny Hill.
Oh.
Benny Hill. Okay.
That's the song.
Very
But
nice.
so yeah, it's sitting up, and he's like, that's not
how I left her.
And he's like, oh no.
But then the friggin' Deacon Juan's like, yeah, but bodies have been known to twitch after death. It's like, you mean to tell me?
Yeah, I remember that part.
Just sitting straight up.
Yeah, just
it
twitches so much like.
Yeah. Oh my god, that was horrible.
It's like that right there showed a clue
rationalize
for how
that one.
stupid the priests were gonna get.
Oh boy.
All right, so.
That was horrible. So then, yeah, they had that whole thing, and they noticed. That's when Deacon Juan like notices the key or whatever and pries it from the cold lady's hand. And
Yeah.
did something happen after that or no? Nicely done.
I think around this time is
That's when
they
they
started screaming in the movie theater, like from not the movie, from like
Oh
personal issues.
yeah.
Oh, wait, okay.
That
Clarify.
really ruined it.
Alright, so when we were seeing the movie, we had like a dude standing towards the end, like of the tunnel where you walk out, just yelling like, "Yo, Jeremy!"
Yeah. What the
Yo,
hell?
Jeremy!
What the hell was that about?
Jeremy! Then you hear Jeremy go, "What?" So.
Don't mind me. At the moment. Well, and then right before the movie like actually started, like maybe like sort of towards the end of the trailers, that person was using their flash from their camera.
Yeah.
They did it, and on the 4th time I didn't turn around. I kept turning around, but I said, that's illegal.
Yeah, I heard you say that.
Like, if it had happened after I said that, I was literally going to turn and be like, yo, cut that shit out. And
right.
it happened again at the credits, and I was like, what the hell's your problem?
He was probably taking Snapchats like, I'm right before the nun.
Gotta update his followers.
Yeah. Then afterwards, he's like, just watch the nun, click. You know how it is.
Yeah, jeez, OP. That was horrible. Anyway, where are we at? They found the key, and then what? After the freezer part. They just headed straight through the front door?
They go to the front door. And that's when they're kind of asking, like, hello? Then that's when they see that old lady. Vomero.
Teresa Flaminga.
There you go.
Catches a glimpse of her. And
that's
then
the lady
says
sitting
hello.
in the chair.
Yeah, the
old
lady nun who's just like in a black veil for some fucking
reason. You can't see her face for whatever reason.
Yeah, because people just sit around like that.
Speaking like Palpatine, I got very strong Palpatine vibes.
That was very Palpatine.
Just in a chair, just like,
what's a Palpatine? I'm kidding.
I was gonna fuck you up, man.
If she hadn't had the veil and it was just strictly like her nunhood, that would have been 100% Palpatine.
Oh, I think they had that at first, then they're like, that looks like fucking Palpatine here. And they just take the... She's like, what you doing? No, you're good.
How
now
do
act
we fix
more.
this? I got it, we'll fix it with a veil.
Yeah. So, basically, like, the old nun says to them, like, what was it? They're at a 24-hour prayer break or something.
No, it's like
12 hours.
12 hours.
It's from
overnight.
sunset to sunrise.
Right.
Like, nuns can only speak during the day or whatever, because, like, probably not stupid, but, like, archetypes with day versus night and whatnot, and blah, 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 blah.
Of course. Yeah. So, they said, like, so that's what the old nun says to them. Says to the, father and young nun that they can stay there that night. They tell Frenchie to go.
Yeah, the Deacon Juan and Flamingo.
Deacon Juan
and
Flamingo.
We only need a couple days, so just head on back and... Oh, shoot, we forgot to say. Like, when they were walking through the woods, they found all of those, like, graves. Like, they had to go through that graveyard with, like, all that crap ton of crosses. And they, like, would walk... the cemetery.
No, it was when they were burying the nun.
Oh,
the
body.
It was before this scene. We missed a big part.
Yeah,
of
we did. It was after so after they find the freezer and the key, the body in the freezer.
Yes.
Take the key. Before they go inside, they give the body a proper burial in the cemetery.
And
that's when they find like all the bells and stuff, and that's where little baby Flamingo was like, "What's up with these bells?" And the Deacon Juan's like, "That's people used to get buried alive because we didn't know what narcolepsy was, or we didn't know what not narcolepsy, but what's the sleep apnea, where you go into a friggin'
I never
state.
knew that.
So
I never knew they did that back in the day.
Yeah, for sure.
So I did learn something.
You didn't know that?
Grave robbers back then, before they even installed bells, would dig up graves to take people's possessions, and they'd find scratch marks in coffins. That's when they were like, maybe we should put strings in here and tie them to bells, so if we ever walk in through here and the bell starts ringing, someone's alive.
The grave robbers gave him the idea.
Exactly.
Hey, I was looting that grave over there, and I saw some scratch marks. You guys should put some bells on it.
Yeah, exactly.
I'm gonna take this though. See you later.
Yeah, exactly. It's like people hack into systems, get hired because it's like, all right, you found out a way to hack into our system. How do you prevent yourself from getting into it? Like,
right.
You're now head of our security. It's like one of those things. It's
You're
always
hired.
ironic. Exactly.
You're hired.
Alright, so
$100.
there was that little tidbit, which was at that point was kind of useless.
Mm-hmm.
But then Deacon Juan and Pseudo Nun Flamingo go to their they have their own rooms, but they share,
it's like
they share a
adjacent
table
to
for dinner.
it's like adjacent and everything. So
that's where we start getting a little bit of background about them.
Yeah, finally of Father Diego.
Yeah.
And alright, so this scene happens where he talks about this boy that he was exorcising, exorcised back in 1945 or something, it was during the war or something, right? Or it was right after the war, he was saying. Now, so he starts talking about how this boy, which I'll be honest, right when it shows the priest walked in and you just see this boy, bound with his hands and stuff, all spread up and
in
stuff. In a barn, and this father's alone with this little boy. I had some thoughts. I was like, here we go. We're gonna see this happen right here. The origins. Yeah, the origins of this. I think that's when it happened. They said it was in Pennsylvania when this exorcism was happening, and
hey guys, I got this great idea. I was out there in Romania.
He section molests this boy to get the demon out. That's what he was telling everybody.
Isn't that what exorcism is?
Yeah, that's what they've all said, like, during the court case, and they're like, it's just, we're just trying to get the demons out. They're like, then why did you make him dress up like a Girl Scout?
It's part of the garb.
It's part of the garb. Alright, so basically he has this, during the exorcism, like the body, what did he say? Like, the body was just jolting everywhere and stuff.
Right.
And basically, like, the boy kind of, like, snaps his neck in a way.
I think they just said he
suffered
injuries
that he couldn't recover
he died
from.
them.
Yeah, so he died a couple of days later. Because, like, typically, as portrayed in exorcisms, like, there's a lot of, like, writhing around.
Of
you're
course,
fighting the satanic spirits of the underworld and whatnot. So, a child of that age and that stature only has so much willpower and actual, like, biological strength, so it makes sense. And then Father Deacon Juan really took it to heart.
He did.
He felt like he killed that little boy.
He did. He really did. Maybe he should be better at his job, Like, I'll be honest, he didn't do that good of a job. He could have done it different ways.
There's no pea soup, there's nothing.
No, he didn't do shit right. So, now we get on to Flamingo. And she talks about her backstory, about the dream she has, and this dream about, like, how Mary points the way, something like that.
Yeah.
Like, she'll show the light, something like that.
None of the dreams are the same, but she always has the same thought for, like, a few days afterwards, and it's always, like, this, like, prominent thought in her head, and it's always the phrase, Mary points the way.
So, I think this is, like, the only thing in the movie that they mentioned that they actually bring back and use later.
Yes.
I think the only time.
Yeah.
The other times
we'll
they
get to
completely forgot, and, like, they wrote that in, like, holy shit.
Well, I remember when she said that, I was like, okay, Mary points the way, that could be, like, some prophetic thing, like, okay, this is getting a little, Bible-y, like, okay, this could be used for something, this is exciting, Mary points the way, can't wait to see what that ties into.
I knew it was going to come back. I was just like, okay, remember, Mary points the way. Yeah, somehow, it's like, it's going to be like a photo, where you see, it's going to be like, kind of like Indiana Jones kind of thing, where you see, like, it, like, pointing out to something. That's what I was thinking of. Then, of course, later on, it's like that, but, like, but the priest is like this, like, alright, so that happens. Now they're like, alright, let's go to bed. They've talked about each other's kind of backstories. Well,
and when Deacon Juan talks about his, he gets upset, so he has to leave.
Yeah, he takes a drink of his, his wine.
That's right. It takes a pretty big drink for a Deacon Juan. Yeah.
So he goes to his bed and stuff. He goes to sleep thinking about that little boy that was bound up and everything.
Oh. You know what else I thought was interesting? Like, not to be a little off track, but did you notice how they were, like, sleeping in the beds? They were on top of the sheets, like, legs straight out, almost sitting up, and, like, hands on their stomachs, like, fingers locked.
He was reading, like, his little book.
Oh, yeah, he had his book, like, on his side, too.
Pocket.
And young Flamingo, she was in undercovers.
No, yeah, she wasn't.
She was? I thought she was.
No, she was on top.
Is that how big her nightgown was?
She's a nun in practice. She's an NIP, dude. She's gotta be.
Gotta be so many layers, I guess.
You gotta be completely humble.
Yeah, can't show those ankles.
Yeah, no way.
Yeah.
Hey, boys, want to see a little ankle?
No. You're a woman of God. Get the fuck out of
That's
here.
how you get stoned on the street.
Exactly.
That's what we should do nowadays to women. You know what I'm saying, boys? Am I right?
I mean,
yeah.
No.
What?
I just want to point out that Michael Muse, did not highlight that.
Well, I was hoping to get my little pun in there. Like, yeah, people do that on the streets all the time now, but not with stones.
Hookers.
People just get stoned on the street all the time.
Oh, because
weed.
Yeah,
marijuana.
Heroin. Am I right, guys?
Oh Jesus!
Am I right? Am I right? Here, I'll high five myself.
That's a
proud of it.
Around here.
Proud of it. All right. So now we start the nightmare scenarios. Basically, the father gets up. He starts. Well, the radio turns on that young Flamingo has in a room. And he's just like, what the hell? Gets up and stuff, but then sees in the distance this little boy run, and he's like, he starts.
Oh yeah.
He already knows. He already knows who it is, but he needs confirmation.
Yeah.
So he starts chasing after it and stuff.
That's a church time.
Then wait, nope, we forgot something.
What did we forget?
We forgot about Frenchie in the woods.
Oh yeah, that's right. That's how they tie in the bells.
Yeah.
No, it's not.
No. It shows him trying to leave. Ghost taunts him. Tries to kill him, but he's safe and like
he runs through to where all the crosses are and like
that's it.
Pulls one out of the ground and like LOL homage to Jesus carrying the cross all the way back to town. Like,
I seriously thought when he picked up that wooden cross up, I thought he was going to turn it upside down like a giant pirate sword, and I was like, please do it. It's going to be so cool.
I only kick ass for the Lord.
It's cool to the touch.
Jeez.
And then so he goes back to town and like some guy at a bar, like the bartender says, yeah, there's 2 people you took there are probably gonna end up dying.
Yeah.
And then so he like thinks to himself, oh yeah, I gotta go back.
Oh my God, I gotta go save that poor little girl.
Now we go back to the priest and stuff, chasing the little boy.
By the time I get back, you know what I'm talking about.
Oh god.
Frenchie, calm down. So then, yeah, we're back to the Deacon
old
Juan
man.
chasing the ghost child.
Yeah, the ghost child. Well, it didn't like.
Which is also another cliche.
Oh, of course.
Yeah, like
This movie is riddled with cliches.
I like the idea that the nun goes after your worst fears. I get that.
Yeah,
But why didn't you make it more like a nightmare scenario? Why didn't you take him like have him like in a legit nightmare, kind of like a Freddy Krueger kind of thing, but with the nun? That would have been better instead of like let's have him chase this boy.
Right.
it's like you know that boy's dead. Like,
Exactly.
So you know this obviously has to be a ghost or some evil trick. So like, why are you chasing?
Oh yeah, and like
Right.
isn't his like title technically is like Miracle Investigator?
Yes.
Yeah. Yeah.
So like with a title
Again,
like that, you wouldn't
He
know.
is bad at his job. Bad at his job.
Dumb.
They were like where's all of our other priests at at Rome when they were trying to get other people like, well, he's dealing with this, he's dealing with that. They're like, oh god, do not get Diego Juan over
Yeah,
here.
don't get Deacon Juan. And
Yeah, don't get
Miracle.
Deacon Juan here. Jesus Christ, he's the only guy. And he just comes up like, oh guys, you need my help? Yeah.
Barely.
Barely.
Well, to be fair, like we were just saying, Deacon Juan is so bad at his job. He actually doesn't have anything to do with like the resolution, right? Because it's Flamingo and
Yeah,
Frenchie
I
who
mean-
like save.
We'll get to that.
Yeah.
We'll get to
Yeah.
that. All right.
Like, Deacon Juan is just like, I'm on the ground.
Like how
a
what
snake bit me.
like literally.
Okay, yeah.
Right in the eye.
We'll get to that.
Yeah.
All right, we'll get to that. But like speaking of Father Juan, he gets buried alive, which
Yeah, after chasing this child.
which I think like how that happens, I still don't understand.
Yeah,
Because
I didn't get that.
The powers of evil, guys. Come on.
He just fell into an open grave and did next thing
Suspend
you
your
know.
suspend your
Oh.
disbelief. Come on.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, but like there's so much I don't know. Like I didn't really care for that. Like because like I know I get it. The ground would I don't know. It didn't feel right.
I get it that there would be like, I mean, like, yeah, okay, he fell into an empty grave. I could believe that, but I think it would have been a little bit better if he like was paralyzed, and the kid was like burying him alive.
Oh, we see that. That would have been kind of creepy.
That would have been so much better than him just like, oh, I fell in, and like when you fall on your back, you probably blink and you're like, no,
Yeah.
the wind is knocked out of you. You're like, you get a little whiplash or something. So like, he opens his eyes. It's almost instantaneous. I think he's got a coffin cover on top of him, and it's filled with the fucking grave's filled with
Yeah,
with dirt.
and the grass has already grown back. And
Yeah, it's like,
and of course, like you said, the bell comes back in ringing and stuff.
yeah, so he
you
starts
know.
pulling on the string to ring
Yeah.
the bell.
Now we cut back to young Flamingo. She
That
starts.
has symbolism in itself, anyway.
Yeah, she's sitting there sleeping and stuff, but then she starts hearing, like the wind from the window, so she gets up. Then you see the cross behind her, that's when you see it upside
That's
like
when you know it's going down.
so you know that nun's in the room. Then, okay, now I forgot what happens after that.
She suddenly gets her to walk outside. When she gets outside, she hears the bells, doesn't she?
That's another thing. Like, she, like, turns on and lights the gas lantern, and she doesn't, like... This is another thing that kind of, like, pissed me off, was she doesn't take, like, a second to walk around the sort like, her level. She, like, immediately goes straight outside.
Wait, no. She goes. This is where she goes in that one part where like it's like a church, and
with the
mirror
pews.
with the
with
mirror.
the pews, yeah.
Yeah, with the mirror and the nun.
And
Like that's when she
first sees the one
nun.
girl praying, right?
Yeah.
Is that right? Or no, is that the next day?
No, that's that night. That's like the first
Yeah.
thing then she runs outside
Okay.
because that's when the mirror explodes and she's like ah.
Oh yeah,
The nun.
because the shadow comes behind the crucifix with the headless.
We
Jesus
saw
on it.
one cross turn upside down right when she walks in there too.
Jesus.
Then, after that, with the mirror explosion, we saw Christ fall upside down.
Upside down cross.
Symbolism, bro. Symbolism. Fucking get it,
Yeah.
alright? Everything's turned upside down. This fucking movie gets life, bro. So now young Flamingo goes outside and stuff that she kind of hears like in the distance, bells are ringing, you know?
All of them, not just his, all the bells are ringing.
Well, she heard the one. Then right when she got to all the graves, that's when they all started ringing. And she's like, I don't know where. But then, doesn't she just like do like a focus? Like she just breathes?
I think it was supposed to be like a vision.
Yeah, it was supposed to be one of her premonitions. Where
Okay.
She kind of like, all these bells are ringing, but they're all kind of foggy. And then she hones in on one of them. It's like, that's the one!
Yeah, and she digs
I'm
that
fucking
out.
special!
Yeah, also notice how she was not sweaty once she finally got it dug up. That small twig of a girl digging a grave up would be covered in
I'm
sweat.
about to sweat in this room right now.
And dirt.
Oh, well, yeah, probably not.
Yeah, and like she'd be covered in dirt too.
Yeah, she was.
And out of breath. She wasn't out of breath.
Yeah, she like. It was superhuman.
Yeah.
The way that she dug him up out of there. That was pretty quick too.
Then I like how like the father's like, this place is not holy, I think he said.
Yeah, it's just like some really corny way of saying like, yeah, it's confirmed, this place is haunted as fuck.
So the next day, because didn't we just cut to the next day and they go to the nun?
Yeah, it's suddenly morning, it's like, well, we can't do anything till morning, we might as well try to sleep, am I right?
They decide, alright, we're going to still continue our investigation, of course.
Right.
When all they had to do was say, this land is unholy.
Yo, this land ain't your land.
I would be honest. He's already been terrible at his job, so you already know. He should have just kept on being like, fuck this, we're done. We're leaving now. We're gonna tell them this is unholy and stuff. Bring the God troops. Bring the God troops.
Bring the real priests.
Bring the real priests down here. I can't do this, guys. I killed an 11-year-old boy. I can't do this.
Jesus.
Should have done that, but he didn't.
No.
So,
just cut the movie right there.
Cut the movie right there. Bam. It would have been quick and short and be like, alright, I had fun. But, alright, so now next day.
Before we go on, I'm going to take a piss.
Alright.
And I know we can cut it out, so.
Oh, I'm keeping this in. We're going to do a quick pee break here. Michael and I are going to discuss, things. We're going to talk about, a quick movie, A Star is Born, real quick, while Heath is out of the room.
It comes out October 5th, and I can't wait to see it.
That's the only reason why I said it. So, yes.
Go see it.
Go see it.
Nobody.
Go take a shit, bitch.
Bitch, go take a shit.
But, yeah. I do say this when watching a movie. The popcorn during it, I really enjoy the popcorn.
Are you kidding? Matt got that stupid ass cheddar popcorn.
Don't ever get cheddar popcorn.
And it was so fucking gross. It was stale.
Yeah, cheddar popcorn's always gross. I don't know why. I never liked cheddar popcorn.
I think the kind you buy in a bag at the store's alright.
Yeah, it's alright, but I don't know. Like, it's not like popcorn's popcorn. There's a reason why it's so good. The original popcorn. What, you think you're cool because you mock me? Everybody mocks me. I am not a cool person.
I'm not cool because I mock you. I mock you because I'm cool.
Alright, that sounded fucking awesome. But yeah, like, I enjoyed the popcorn. Really, like, the theater that we saw it at was nice. I'll be honest, I like the seats that they have now at AMC in Newport now. Just leans back and stuff. It's very comfortable.
Yeah.
I just don't like the row we were sitting in because I was right up there.
Yeah.
That was not comfortable.
Hey, do you want a beer?
Nah.
Okay.
But, yeah. Alright. Heath is back from his pee breaks.
And I'm not wearing heels, it's just my shoes.
Nope, they're heels.
They're definitely...
Stilettos towards that.
He looks good.
Sweet
He looks good in it.
It pushes my pelvis forward and really accentuates my butt.
That's what RuPaul always says.
No, actually, he doesn't. I don't know.
Oh, you're right. I've only watched.
Well, that's what heels were
episodes.
created for.
To stomp on kittens?
No. To push your.
All right, back.
Stomp on pussy.
You know what I'm saying?
That was sarcasm.
I'm a virgin.
So is the pseudo nun.
Back to the nun. Alright, so next morning they get to where the door opens up, this big like giant dungeon door, and the flamingo goes in, and the father, Juan stays back. And he starts reading the book.
Well, before that, they encounter the lady in the veil lady in the chair again. Like, hey, we're here. We're gonna continue our investigation. And she's like, ooh, spooky mumbo jumbo. I don't even remember what she says, or like any kind of inclination as to what she says.
I think that's when she says only young flamingo could go back.
Oh,
Juan
yeah.
stays.
Got him. So that had to have been
Juan goes in, but Juan stays.
Ladies and gentlemen, we have a winner! The best pun of this podcast, this episode, goes to Mikey News.
Holy fuck, that was good.
Let's repeat it for everyone listening at home. Juan goes in, but Juan has to stay. Congratulations, Mikey. You get the consolation prize of Pride, which I'm sure is going to come to a crashing halt before you go to bed. Anyway.
Yeah.
You right.
Alright, so back to the movie. Where, young flamingo goes in.
To like one half of the place.
One half of the place where all the nuns are at.
Yeah, and Deacon Juan has to stay back.
And he's reading a book of I guess it's a book that he has of demons, I guess. Something.
Well, yeah, we learn what kind of book it is after, like, when we further investigate with Little Flamingo, because she's like, her job is to talk amongst all the nuns and get as much like historical information as she can, and Deacon Juan just does demon research.
Right. All right. So she goes off. She finds one nun, and they start conversating. While Father Juan is just, like we said, just sitting back still and stuff.
Just reading a bunch of old books.
Yes. Well, the young flamingo talking to the one young nun. They're basically she's giving her a story about what has been going on, saying this nun, is that where we got the flashback to the Knights of the Round Table?
Well, yeah, the Duke. That's when she's like,
yeah.
Okay, so Flamingo is walking through the place, and she's going through all these corridors or whatever, and that's when I think that's right. We met the praying nun the time before.
Right.
So then she goes and talks to the one of the younger nuns, and they're at this table in what looks like maybe a mess hall or something, and that's when she's getting all the historical information about the abbey, and it's oh, this was purchased way back when. Who remembers the date? Because this whole movie is insignificant.
Right.
It's it was owned by a rich duke who practiced dark magic, and we were taken into this flashback where there's 5 dead hanging upside down bodies over a circle, and it's this dude in a robe.
Again, cool imagery.
Yeah,
right.
the
That
imagery
was
great.
cool imagery.
I have to say, the flashback was probably my favorite cinematic part of the movie.
I wish we would have gotten that movie. How
Exactly.
cool would have that been?
Yeah, let's get the prequel to the Nun.
Yeah.
We'll call it Deacon Juan.
Yeah.
Holy fuck!
So that's when we learn the Duke is really super wealthy, which is why he has this huge abbey. But he's super into dark arts, and he's opening a portal between hell and earth
to bring out a Valkyrie or
Valak or something.
Valak.
And that whole imagery was cool. The circle that they're all part of this super big pentagram.
Right.
And the friggin' floor shatters, and red image, I don't know if it was clouds or if it was just rays of red or fire or whatever, but a bunch of red shit comes spilling out, and then you get the first hand of the demon coming out, and then the head, and it's basically birthing this demon. It's okay, this is pretty fucking cool. Let's have more of this.
Doesn't that holy army charge in?
Exactly.
Yeah, the Knights of the Round Table comes in hello, we're the Knights of the Round Table, we're gonna kill some demons and slay them.
It was,
and immediately they stop, stop them.
It looked kind of like Templar, or Crusaders. They had all the chainmail on, the white robes with the red crosses.
Yes.
And then, so they're barging into this place, cutting people off, from ceilings and cutting heads off.
They close the portal.
They close the portal.
They close it super easy too.
Yeah, so out of all of these dudes with swords and in chainmail, there's this old guy with a super white ass robe walking through, throwing up peace signs, and is I've got this glass egg. Guess what's inside of this little red cross isn't for decoration, baby. It's the blood of Jesus. And then takes one drop and just ever so lightly drops one drop of Jesus' blood down this hell vagina, and then reverse menstruation, boom, it closes up.
Just you know what? That's a metaphor to how when nuns
take a vow with God, that
Well,
pussy
that's
gets
just-
shut.
oh, no.
That
Yeah.
pussy gets shut. Boom.
God, on that.
Dude, the symbolism in this fucking movie is rad, okay? It's not bad. It's rad.
That's a very weird way to pronounce the word whack.
No. You messed up. It's rad.
Oh, excuse me. So then, the lady flamingo's like, so then like, how did it all start happening again? And that's when the other nun's like, oh, the bombings from World War I or Two, excuse me, shook the structure of the house and like cracked the floor, because all you have to do to open a gate of hell now, that once it's been opened, you just have to crack the floor again. You don't have to do any kind of ritual.
Yeah.
So then the dark spirits have started leaking into the earth again. It's like, oh my god.
Yeah. It's
No
basically
way.
it's kind of like in Ghostbusters when the guy from the Environmental Protection Agency does like a little opens up the ghost terminal and like it spreads it out.
Yeah.
I'm done with my Ghostbusters reference.
Thank God. I was getting bored that quick.
All of you listening at home, wake up!
Alright, so that happens, gives the whole backstory of that. But cut back to Father Juan. He figures out, he says the name Valcom.
Valak.
Valak.
I'm pretty sure it's VALYK.
I'm
or something.
terrible with names. Valak. But that's when he starts seeing the young boy again.
Ugh, God.
And he's like, hello?
Nahara?
Hey, young boy. Hey, young boy. How you doing? And young boy attacks him. It goes away.
Leads him somewhere.
No, it doesn't. He's like, what the hell?
Oh.
Wait, are you talking about when he went to that confessional?
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
I thought
That's
he
right.
was looking. I thought he saw that old nun in the black veil or whatever. I thought that's.
Oh
what
wait,
he
that's
saw.
first. I thought that was after the boy. You're right. It's first.
Which I didn't get the point of that.
Yeah, I didn't. I was like, I remember leaning over to Elizabeth and saying, "Oh, I knew the name while I was watching the movie. Deacon Juan, it's confession time."
Yeah, like I thought they were
Okay.
gonna do something with that. Like
I
he
thought
walks into the confessional and like hears something whispering to him, like confessing something.
Yeah.
But like
Or like
nothing.
he gets
happened.
trapped in there somehow until he like
No, he just
confesses to his
walks
crimes
out.
or something. Yeah, he just pops in and out.
Then he opens up the
circus
door and
photo
he's like,
booth.
nobody's here. Then that's when he sees the young boy.
Yeah.
And the young boy's like, hey.
Well, I guess that's more symbolism. So like he walks into confessions, comes out and sees the boy, which is the thing he has to confess. Like it's the thing that's tormenting him, which is the point of going into confession.
Whoa, dude! As we keep talking about, this movie's deeper than what we thought. Masterpiece.
Deeper shit.
Yeah.
am I right?
Well, then like I said, that's when he goes back to the cold room, right? No, he starts trying to get the door open. The boy
The door that separates them starts to shut. Doesn't it?
that's shut.
The dungeon door starts.
Yeah,
to shut.
that shuts, and the young boy already goes away because it was just pointless. The young boy goes away, so now we get to where he starts remembering about like the delivery room.
Oh
Remember,
yeah,
from
the
French
freezer.
Canadians. Like, he goes there and stuff. Well, then that's when the nun that hanged herself wakes up, and he's like, "Son of a bitch." Cut to now young Flamingo, who's with the one nun, but the nun is roaming around. Remember,
Oh,
because the nun's up, and they all go to
All the
like
crosses are upside down.
yeah, all the crosses are upside down. So they all go into the big cathedral and they start to pray. They say, "Don't move, don't look at anything, just continue praying."
Right.
And then,
Which more imagery? There was.
Yeah,
if I
it's pretty
counted
cool.
correctly, it was like it was 6 regular nuns, so they're all dressed in black.
and she's right in
in
the
a
middle.
big circle, and she's the only one wearing white because she's not a real nun yet. She's
Exactly.
smack dab in the middle.
Right.
No, there were 7 because there were 6 in the ring. She was in the center, and there was a 7th one in between the last 2.
Actually, technically 8 because there was one dead underneath the
Yeah,
sheets.
no,
yeah. 8 nuns.
Yeah. So okay, so they're praying and stuff. Well, back to Father Juan, and the nun's up and stuff. It's a zombie nun, so we have that going on.
Zombie nun.
We have zombie nuns here, which that should be a movie.
Zombie
We're gonna
nun.
start writing that. immediately.
Zombie nun.
Zombie Nun, starring Billy Baldwin.
Well, wait a minute. I just thought of this. The zombie nun, when she fell from the noose, like her rotted body, didn't her head come off?
No.
It didn't.
No, I don't remember.
Wouldn't it have had to in order for her to fall off of a noose?
No, I thought the rope just like gave out.
Oh, okay.
Because the supernatural was keeping her body pretty
Okay.
ripe, if you know what I'm talking about.
A couple times.
Alright.
So
I mean, her head did fall
the
off.
supernatural forces is just
Technically,
slowly cutting away.
Like, technically, her head did, like, fall off right when Frenchie comes in with a shotgun and blows it to hell. And he's like, hey, I'm here. Funny joke line, because I'm going to be the comic relief now for the rest of the movie.
Oh, God, that's right.
Yeah.
Doesn't he come in with a, he may have just said this, doesn't he come in wielding a shotgun or something?
Yeah, he had a shotgun. He blew the brains out.
That's right.
And, like, the father's like, okay, it's good to use guns sometimes, my son, or something.
No, wait, he didn't kill her with the shotgun. I thought he killed her with something else, and then the...
Oh, that's right.
The Deacon Juan is like,
he
could have used the shotgun.
He cuts her head off with his axe.
Yeah,
he just
like
carries around all the time.
He said like, feel free to use the shotgun next time, and then he's like, I'm saving it.
That's for emergencies
Okay.
only. That's for emergencies only, Deacon Juan.
That's right. God, this is where it starts getting really.
This is
stupid.
where like
This is where it
this is
starts
supposed to be like
getting really
rising action, but it's like
This is where it gets-
all downhill from here.
It gets so stupid at this point. All right, cut back to young Flamingo with all the nuns. She's praying and everything. Then they start feeling the nuns' presence coming up. It blows back all 6 nuns. You know, some of them are really hurt.
I thought they were dead, but apparently
Me too. One of them was dead. A couple of them were dead.
Yeah.
But then young Flamingo's getting scratched up, you know, like Kunta Kinte and Roots at this point.
Yeah, I didn't get that either, like, because it carved a pentagram into her, like, her back
Into
of
her upper
shoulder.
left shoulder.
But that never came back into play either, did
Never.
it?
I guess
what
it
the
was.
hell?
I think it was targeting her as one to be a vessel. I guess that was
Like,
probably the reason.
Yeah, like marking her.
But again, it
yeah,
doesn't
I
make
guess,
sense
It doesn't-
because
it
you've
doesn't
already
come
gone
full
at
circle.
it. Doesn't make sense at that point.
Yeah, like all these nuns get thrown around, and then she's like sitting there still praying as if that's gonna help. And you're right. That's when like, that's when the spirit, because you know this nun can do anything it wants, whether it's in the same room or
Because
not.
the plot says
It's like
so.
her gown from the top down just gets ripped and it exposes her upper left
Right.
shoulder, and that's when it starts like slowly cutting her into the pentagram, and it's just like she in my opinion she didn't wince hard enough. It's like you're literally getting like cut in your upper back and
Right.
you're praying like you gotta.
Well, it's like getting cut by a ghost, so you don't know how painful it really is.
You know, I've never been cut by
Maybe-
a ghost. That's very true.
Maybe it wasn't painful. Maybe she was getting pleasure out of
No,
it.
she's a nun. Don't sodomize her.
I'm not the one sodomizing her. That nun was, and maybe she was kind of getting off. I'm just saying, guys. I'm just saying. Maybe she
Pain
was.
is awfully confused with often confused with pleasure. So.
I remember that movie, The Vinci Code, where the albino guy was smacking himself with
Oh,
the belt
yeah.
and stuff. He was coming everywhere. I was watching the... Wait, hang on. I screwed up. That was the porno version I was watching.
Got him.
Alright, so now we get back to, alright, so Frenchie and Father Juan gets into the room, right?
Yeah, they catch up with Flamingo.
Yeah, well, she opens the door for him. She takes off the...
Oh yeah,
she takes the brace off the door
Because she's like,
and lets him in.
and they're like, what's going on? And she's like, we've been here, we've all been praying. He's
They're
like,
who?
Who's we?
Yeah.
And then that's when she turns around and is like, there's only one nun, and it's the one that's under the blanket that's been dead the whole time.
Yeah.
And I was like, oh shit,
Yeah.
the one under the blanket, what's gonna happen?
Yeah. Because they telegraphed everything they've done so far. Woo! So now they get towards the body, and it comes alive. It gets possessed. And that's when Father Juan does an exorcism towards
Yeah, real quick, by the way.
Real quick, yeah, quicker than that
He like
boy.
pins her down.
Yeah, and well, right when
And
he
it's like, Flamingo, give me my holy water
Yeah.
that I just carry everywhere.
yeah, you know, he gets it and everything and stuff, and the cross literally burns in his hand.
Oh yeah, he douses it.
Yeah.
He douses a crucifix with it, and then he like presses it on the demon, and it starts smoking. It's like, okay, regular exorcist stuff.
Well,
and
then
then
it
it
catches
catches on
fire.
fire.
Yeah, and again, this priest is bad at his job because it's like I'm doing everything he told me to do. The cross is not working. The holy water, Frenchie, use the gun. Terrible at his job.
Yes. Very terrible at his job.
So they kill that nun.
Yeah. Do they shotgun her? Or no?
Yeah, I thought they shotgunned that nun that was on
Was
fire.
that an emergency?
Yes, because that's what Frenchie said.
God.
He's like, I think that was considered an emergency, Father.
Yeah, even though it's the same exact situation that I was in before, where I used the
When we were in a
max.
cellar in a freezer. And now hang on again, fucking symbolism, man. When he first like uses the axe on the one nun that was already dead,
Yeah.
it was cold.
This nun that was on fire, he uses a gun.
Damn.
Get out.
Fucking symbolism, man. They did. This movie's stupid.
Blank terms.
Alright, now we're on the home stretch, basically.
Yeah.
This is like the big climax of the movie. We're finally at now, so they realize what they have to do to stop the nun. She tells them the whole Knights of the Round Table shit and stuff. We gotta get the blood of Jesus.
We gotta find the blood of Jesus.
But she's like, but Father, I want to take my vows. And he gives her the vows and everything.
That was, to me, quite hysterical.
Yeah, that was just like, really, that's it? Like, that's
Yeah,
all you have to
but
do?
like, at the same time, it's like, I thought she was on her back, like, staring at the ceiling, but no, she's face down.
Oh, yeah.
She was face down with a cloak over her face.
Yeah,
like,
that was
not
pretty
facing God, which didn't make sense to me. Like, or she's like laying in a crucified, like, kind of manner, where she's like, her arms are spread out and her feet are together or whatever. And I was like, wait a minute, is she face down? And then it wasn't until they had the angle where it showed her toes face down. I was like, holy shit, why the hell is she face down? That doesn't make any sense to me.
Again, we're talking about Father Juan here. He's terrible at his job. He's like, yeah, I can do the vows. Just put your face to the ground.
You're not a little boy, so I need you to turn over.
Yeah, then like
No face.
he's like this. He was
And also, I'm gonna have to cloak you.
and he was like reading the book upside down. So he's like, shit, I fucked up. Let's go take this nun down.
The book's upside down. I don't know Norwegian. Oh shit, this is Latin. It's upside down.
Just keep walking.
I'm gonna have to look at nun porn tonight, by the way. I just have to say that.
I'm fine with. I'm glad that you're being realistic about it. You're gonna go look at nun porn. But okay, so now all right, so now they get the blood of Jesus, right? No, my bad. They go down towards where everything's at with the whole nun shit. Where they're going towards the portal, and when they're starting to walk, they see the statue of Mary with this light on its finger.
Oh yeah, okay.
And
So
that's
well, before all that, they have to like confront their fears or whatever, right? So
I thought they already did that.
no, they go to. They're going like through the catacombs or whatever to get to the door that says God ends here, right? They go through all the hallways or whatever, and they're all together, and then it cuts to the next scene or whatever, and Frenchie's by himself. I was like, okay, let's hang on a second here. They were all literally like hand in hand down this corridor, and the next shot we get is Frenchie off by himself.
See, I thought that was stupid.
That was dumb. It's like, how did we get from there to there?
It doesn't make
There
sense.
was no
Why?
like, hey, we should split up and cover more ground.
It got Scooby Doo at that point, you know,
Like, oh my
really,
God.
like just like, oh, we're gonna split them up now.
Yeah,
it was
exactly.
dumb.
And I forget what he encountered.
He encountered I think he encountered that fucking nun again. That was hanging again.
Yeah, because that's like his fear or whatever. He has to overcome.
Yeah.
He has to overcome it. So he's
Then
like, he's like firing off rounds, like.
Then he just runs away.
Yeah, he just runs out.
Runs away. Then we cut to the father.
Yep, and the father, guess who's there? Guess who's in his room?
Guess who's back in the house?
Little boy, the Tyler Bauer.
Hi, father, you killed me again.
And he's like crouched behind like a cross or something with his gangly little fingers and whatnot, just kind of chilling. And it's like, I want to fight you now, you little boy.
Wait, there's a you run into like the. Who runs in? Because there's like all those nuns facing each other, and then like they slowly look at them.
That's Father Juan.
That's Father Juan. That's right. No. That's Frenchie.
No, that's Father Juan. Because when all the nuns turn around, they start approaching him. He makes the holy water cross and lights it on fire, and he's just like, "Be gone!" And he's just like, "I'll get the fuck out."
Okay, so for those listening at home, that's correct. Thank you.
Yes.
He goes. Father Deacon Juan goes down a corridor, and there's like 2 by 4, so 8 nuns just standing there, backs to him.
6.
Okay, there's 6. Either way, they're backs to him. They all slowly turn around, and Deacon Juan training goes right into effect, and he like has this oil lamp, and he starts chucking oil out of the lamp in the form of a cross. Which, if you're slushing around like oil in this lamp, wouldn't it catch on fire right then and there? I mean, I don't know how oil lamps work, but either way, he makes a cross out of oil and then lights it on fire and says some mumbo jumbo. They're all like a friggin' apple to
it's
a
a
doctor.
burning cross.
Sure.
Yeah, and you know what's funny? To them, it wasn't upside down for them, but for him, it was upside down. Fucking
That's
this
when
movie.
That's when we know the nun's near.
Yeah. So
then he runs away and then finds the boy. But then Flamingo
Flamingo goes to the room where the portal of hell is at.
So yeah, so she magically and mystically finds.
She finds it immediately.
Yeah,
too.
so like it's
And
that,
she turns
it's that
around,
corridor where it's got all the hanging crosses and everything.
She turns around and she's like, "Where's the fucking other two at?
Yeah, it's like she had.
Why
no
did we
idea
split
where
up? Where is everybody right now?"
Hang on a minute, they were just here.
Yeah. So that's when she gets. I guess she gets bonked in the head. You know, let's just try to go through this as quick as possible.
Where she sees all those other like nuns, but like they're not in their robes. They have like bags.
No. She didn't see him. Frenchie does, because that's the next scene afterwards. Because she's one of them with the bags on their heads.
Yeah.
She gets like bonked in the head.
She sees him first.
No, she doesn't.
Does she?
I thought no.
I thought like the door opens and she's like running away and she's like getting sucked into the God ends here and she has to catch the key and like she's running down the corridor and the one nun's like, you gotta, like pulls her out of the
wait,
side,
that was
like
way before all
out of
this.
here.
That was way before all this. We missed that part talking about that.
Oh well.
But doesn't matter. At this point, she
has
goes
no
in.
bearing on the movie.
I'm pretty sure she don't see them yet. She goes in, notices the room and stuff. She has another premonition, and I think that's when the nun comes, like, boinks her on the head or something, or whatever.
That's right.
Frenchie comes in. That's when he sees all the nuns, like you're talking about, with the bags over the heads with blood spots on.
Yeah,
it.
So what do we think that was? Do you think those were like all the nuns that the nun has taken?
Probably.
And that nun was using probably as decoys. Kind of like,
well,
you're not gonna find a real girl, aren't you,
And then
Frenchie?
like, all were just like.
Yeah, and they all just like he bobbed and weaved through them all.
Yeah.
Like,
Have you seen the movie Silent Hill?
Yeah, a long time.
Did that scene remind you of the scene when like she's walking through like there's nurses?
Oh yeah.
And, like, the nurses are like.
Yeah,
that scene
it
reminded me
feels
of
like
those.
this movie took a couple of bits and pieces from others.
Oh, definitely.
It's just really a melting pot.
Oh,
but
definitely. So
either way, that all happens, and then they all like disperse, and there's Flamingo, and she's like suspended at an angle, like she's doing like the Michael Jackson like lean forward.
Oh yeah, over the portal, right?
Yeah,
now.
over the circle
portal.
that has
This is
the
where
crack
like
in
the
it.
process of the nun she's going towards her vessel, basically.
Yeah.
And Frenchie's like, no, don't be doing that, and the nun's like, no, and that's when the nun comes up and it's like, no, I'm taking her, stop this, and Frenchie's like, no, chokes him, and
chokes him out.
And then we're supposed to believe he's dead, but we all know he's not.
Yeah. Then that's when the Father Juan comes in. He's like, hey, what the fuck you doing? And like gets
like
young Flamingo out of her Michael Jackson state.
Yeah.
And they're like, hey, oh no, Frenchie, he's dead. Oh, come on, Flamingo, let's go. And the nun's like, fuck you guys, no, I need her, stop running. They go towards this room where it's like water everywhere. Oh no, it's the same room.
Is it the same?
Because that's where the portal
I thought
goes.
she got thrown through like a wooden door and busted through it and then like fell into this water.
That's
Wait a
right.
minute.
That's right.
When did they find the statue of Mary? Is it before all this?
That's where they were finding the blood.
She already has this like holding on to it.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. So we are all over the place. So before
so's the fucking movie.
true. So before we get to all of this, they like it's in between the nun taking her over, making her suspended in the whole Michael Jackson bit, and it's after they all encounter their fears in the corridor.
I thought it was before going down into the corridors.
Maybe it was. To be honest, that movie was so trash. I can't even remember.
I don't remember either.
But either way, they come to this room after like inspecting the entire abbey somehow within a very short period of time, and they're in the statue, and it's like, the imagery is like it's spoon fed. Like anyone could walk into that room and know exactly what's happening if they were watching the movie.
Yes.
So they walk into this room, and all it is just a room with one statue of Mary to the right of the entrance, and she's like holding little baby Jesus doing his little peace sign, and it's got Mary holding up another hand with like one, like almost like clenching a fist, but one finger's just like kind of
it's pointing,
limply like standing out.
Limply pointing.
So then like one moonbeam from the one hole in this room is cast upon the tip of this goddamn finger, and it reflected and it was refracted or whatever, straight like back to the wall on the other side of the room, and they're all like, "Well, this is a dead end. This is where we're gonna take a break and talk about how far we've come." And then Deacon Juan's like, "Wait a minute, Flamingo, Mary points the way. Take that key and shove it into like a keyhole that's being illuminated by the moon.
Oh, just to
from
point out,
Mary.
I don't think it was actually a keyhole. It was just like a slit in the wall.
Yeah, it's just like, oh, this must work. Boom, and then they have like this like speakeasy window kind of just slide over, and then there's a glass egg with the blood of Jesus Christ in it. And when we first saw that during like the Crusader and the old man priest in the flashback, Elizabeth leaned over to Mariah and was like, "Is that why we have eggs during Easter? That's not why we hide eggs."
Oh, fuck you.
Exactly.
Fuck you.
I was like,
No,
"That's
fuck
pretty
that
good.
shit.
That's pretty good.
Okay, so all right.
So they have it. Fast forward to they're battling the nun, and Flamingo is cast into this other room that's adjacent, and it's filled.
And
with
Father
fire.
Juan follows, and that's when he gets the snake. The snake bites him in the eye,
Right.
and he's indisposed at this point.
Well, the snake gets shot out of the little boy's mouth. He, like,
Oh, that's
he
right.
encounters the
Wood
little
pops
boy
out again, and just goes. Wah!
Yeah, just
Snake
like
out of
screams
mouth.
at him, and then just like projectile bombs.
Yeah, it bites him in the eye.
Into his eye. Yeah.
Well, the nun.
Blinding him.
Huh?
It blinds. His eye
Yeah.
goes blind.
Yeah.
Like
Well-
you can tell, like his eye goes gray.
Oh yeah,
It's
definitely.
and everything.
It's a dead eye.
Yeah, exactly.
Dead eye. Now he goes down. The nun and young Flamingo's in the water, and they're kind of having like a small kind of battle.
It's very small. It's like, hey,
Very small.
you're kind of just like, what is it called? When you're just kind of treading water in this seemingly shallow
Literally, yeah.
spot, but I'm gonna choke your ass out anyway.
Well, while the nun gets her and starts choking her. Well, then that's when Frenchie comes back. He's not dead.
God forbid.
He's here. He's alive, and he's saving the day. Gets
He's
knocked
alive?
back. He gets
Wow.
knocked back to the wall immediately, and the nun's like, "What the fuck you doing? Stop! I'm trying to possess this girl." So she's choking her and stuff, and she rises her up and everything out of the water.
Oh wait, but
Oh, she grabs the egg out of her hand,
right.
notices that it's empty, and then young Flamingo just spits blood all over the nun's face.
Let's take a moment to recognize that little Flamingo put the blood of Christ in her mouth to spit it at Valak.
That's how you get AIDS.
8 out of 10 dentists approve.
That's the original Colgate.
Damn right it is. But, so yes. That's when okay, so now the nun's dying. It's like, no, I'm melting.
Wait,
Yeah, that was really stupid.
quick.
Yo.
So young Flamingo can never become a real nun because she's had Jesus inside of her. She's had a
Got
man
it.
inside of her. Break the rules, bitch.
Yeah.
Back
Get
in
the
line.
fuck. You know what? You better get the fuck out of here. I had Jesus in me. We always talk about how we all have God and Jesus in us. Yeah, but you literally had him in you.
That's
Get
probably-
the fuck out of
That's
here.
probably why the nun died not because the blood killed it, but because it was like,
Excessive.
well, fuck, the one person I wanted is soiled now.
Yes.
It's like, I want to go back to hell.
Yeah.
Tainted love.
Well,
Oh my gosh.
maybe
And-
they too, she gets back because she put all the blood of Christ inside her, the spit on her.
Well, yeah.
They didn't do that with just clothes. It was like one drop. She wasted all the blood of
That's
Christ
what I
on
was
this
about
nun.
to say.
So of course she got kicked. You know what? She needs to stop fucking following Father Juan because she's bad at her job too.
Yes.
She just learned
Well,
from the
technically,
worst.
it's her first day on the job. She just became a nun.
True,
That's
true.
it.
But when you have a shitty trainer, you become a shitty worker too. It
Yeah.
happens.
It happens.
It happens.
And then I was like, when the nun or the demon was like, melting, I was like, oh
Yeah,
shit, like you're supposed to
witch
spray
nun.
that shit in the portal to close it up. Like, how is that gonna happen?
Well,
But luckily,
It does.
it all falls in the
It all
water.
closes up.
And it all
anyway.
gets sucked down into this. Because once you spit blood into a demon's face, like, it immediately pulls the plug on the whole thing. And then the water starts swirling down, and the blood goes with it. And then all that blood closes that bitch. All that blood better close that bitch up for good. If one drop can close it for a while, all that blood better fucking work.
Okay.
So then that happens. It's like, yay, we
Everybody's
beat
good.
him. And
Yeah.
it was Flamingo patches up Deacon Juan's eye, and they're
It patches up. Literally puts like a sheet
cloth.
of a cloth and like, here you go. And he's like, thank you. You're the best nun ever. You're the worst father ever.
Exactly. and then they get onto the little horse and carriage
with Frenchie, of course.
with Frenchie, and they're like, oh my god. And she's like, what's your real name? And he's like, it's Maurice. She's like, Maurice, thank you for saving my life. It's like, oh, Jesus.
I like the accent you put on her now.
Oh, yeah, because it's so dumb.
It's like Scottish, Ireland.
Something.
Something now that you've just done
Yeah.
after like of all.
A very mocking,
Yeah.
a very mocking term.
And so,
But then he like itches his neck,
and
and
it's an upside down cross.
And it's just like, oh god, and that's when it flashes back to when the nun was choking him out the first time, and like, we see him fall limp. The demon spits a snake down him, and that's possessing him. So then, this is where get ready, everybody. If you've seen the first Conjuring, when you first meet Ed and Lorraine, her name's Lorraine.
Yes.
Oh yeah,
It's
that's
Sister
something
Lorraine.
too.
So when you first see Ed and Lorraine,
they're two different characters.
No way.
Yeah,
No.
they came out and said that. That's where I'm glad we're at this point now.
What?
Like with the old Flamingo and young Flamingo in the universe of the Cuckoo, they're two different characters.
Yeah.
What?
Yeah.
Wait, you didn't know that?
No.
Yeah.
I thought they were trying to tie it back.
No.
Wait, you thought old Flamingo in the Conjuring movies was supposed to be the young Flamingo?
Yeah.
No, she's married to Ed, and
No.
she can't.
Now there are theories. Now there are theories because they were saying
I'm
like.
gonna say she abandons the nunhood.
See, that's
Coven.
that's what a theory is that people saying that she leaves.
Also,
because-
that timeline doesn't work out because I think this was like early 1900s at the latest.
No, this was 1950s.
Yeah.
When the nuns happened. The nun. The
But
movie.
well, even then, wasn't The Conjuring like modern day?
1970s.
1970.
She would be like 40-ish.
I know that from Wikipedia.
She'd be like 40-ish in The Conjuring.
Yeah. So the timelines are matching up, but they keep
Okay.
saying that they're two different characters.
That's not possible.
right.
Okay, now that actually has me thinking.
Yeah. Okay, so let's take a moment to digest this. So, I'll set it up for everyone listening at home. First Conjuring, for those of you who've seen it, you know this.
I haven't seen it yet.
In the first Conjuring, when you first meet Ed and Lorraine, they show a video of what a possession looks like, and it's Ed screaming at some guy in a chair, and they're like trying to exorcise this demon. He's going through like, and if you can see, he pulls up his shirt. And there's an upside down cross under his skin, and he starts speaking. A man who's not well educated, can't even read a book or something, which we never knew that Maurice couldn't read a book.
It was a time period.
Sure.
A lot of people couldn't read.
Maybe.
Yeah.
Either
Fucking-
way, it's like
fucking
a
one
man
can do
who
a
knew
possession.
like simple English started speaking fluent Latin, blah 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 blah, and that's when like it shows that he says a man named Maurice, and it's like, oh shit, like Maurice is getting exercised, like this is how they're tying it into the first movie,
Yeah.
and then like Maurice turns and grips Lorraine and like has that deep stare with her or whatever, like in the first one, which we know like causes Lorraine to like freak the fuck out, and Ed explains later like that took a really big fucking piece out of her, but here it's like Maurice just turns, looks at her, and then it flashes back to the nun, which causes Lorraine to scream, and it's like,
Wait a minute.
God, that's so cheap and insignificant.
I just realized something. In The Conjuring, Lorraine has visions.
Yes.
Exactly.
Yeah, that's how I knew, like, as soon as the lady was like, I have visions and dreams, I was like, fuck, that's Lorraine.
Wow,
that's
I've
the
never
same
even
girl.
thought about that, but now, like, it seems so stupid at first, but now it's actually making sense.
Yeah,
But they're saying they're two different characters.
that's not possible.
Maybe they might try to say they're from the same family line.
Maybe it's her mother. The nun is the mom. Maybe Flamingo is Lorraine's mother.
Or
But then in the video, like, how they tie it in here, like, Maurice turns to her, like, stares at her, and she gets that flashback back to the nun, which just causes her
the
to
way
scream.
he looks at her, it's like, I know who you are.
Right, but it shows the flash of the imagery of the nun, and then she freaks out as she does in the first movie, which later in the first Conjuring, Ed says, yeah, that exorcism really took a big piece out of her. It's like, it seems so like lackluster to me
Interesting.
how they tied it in.
Fun fact, in The Conjuring, like, they recreated that clip for the nun.
Yeah.
I was reading up on it, because the original actor in that
Yeah.
scene in The Conjuring is not
Oh
the
yeah,
same.
for sure. Yeah, I knew that for a fact.
Okay.
So,
Also, kind of a.
yeah.
That's something they would have been planning for years ahead. So you can't really
Which
blame them.
would have made this movie a lot better if they had.
Yeah.
But they're kind of always,
that would've
they're
meant
always
they
going
would've-
off
They
the
would have
cuff.
planned it.
Yeah, exactly.
And that's the end of The Nun, everybody. And boy, oh boy,
God, was it horrible.
not a good movie. Like I said, since this is my first time watching movies from this franchise, I turned to you, Michael, right after it was done, because I was just like, oh God, I think I'm missing something. That's what I was feeling like the whole time watching. I was like, am I missing something? Because this is not good. And I turned to Michael at the end of it. I was like, the other ones are better, right? Like and what did you say?
I think I just, like, laughed and said, yeah.
Yeah, you're like, oh, they're way better.
Oh yeah, definitely recommend seeing the first Conjuring, but not this movie.
Yeah.
So, going into it, gave it a B with high hopes, came out of it with a D. So.
She came out of it with
Oh!
So yes, that's The Nun. Not a good movie. Would you guys recommend seeing this movie in theaters or wait?
I don't even know if I'd bother with not to. I would just say, don't even worry about it. It's just it seems like it seems like a loose end they created themselves, and then they tied it up at the end. Like the beginning of the movie is the loose end, and then they tied it up at the end. It had like literally almost no bearing to the original franchise. They it seems like they just like fit it in. They were like, oh, people keep asking us about that one big thing that really took a chunk right out of Lorraine. What are we gonna do?
Hey,
and then they were just like,
Roger.
we can do this.
Hey, Roger, yeah, hey, this image of the nut is pretty scary, right? Yeah, we're doing this cuckoo, thing, yeah, we should make a movie of it. Sounds good. Grill cheap money right there, Tono. No problem.
That's exactly how it loves these movies so much, we could do it with a really low budget. We can totally paranormal.
Actually, I think let me check the budget for the movie, because I think it was actually a pretty good budget for it.
Let's just say it looked like it. Probably.
There was
I bet you
cheap things how it looked. That is one thing about it. It
all
wasn't
of
cheap
the budget
looking.
was spent on the one cinematic part with the Duke and the Knights of the Templar.
Yeah.
Because that shit was pretty badass.
Also, shit! This only had a budget of $22 million.
That makes me wonder if they actually went to an abbey to film, or if that was all like set design.
I think there was a couple times. Let me look. I'm on like a Castle Film Studios in Romania.
Where does 20 for someone who doesn't know, where does 22 million fall on like a movie budget? Do you say?
It mostly like of course you got the cast, which I don't think the cast was too expensive.
Right.
Location. So it looks like the location probably like at the places that they went to, maybe that might have been like a little bit.
What was the budget for the first Conjuring?
The first Conjuring.
Let's compare it to that, and then let's compare it to something like the scale of the Avengers. What is that?
Well, I was gonna say. Horror movies typically don't have as big of budgets.
Yeah.
So I was gonna say for a horror movie, that's probably around average.
Okay, that's what I'm trying to get.
Yeah, that's like The Conjuring. The first one was $20 million.
Oh,
yeah, I think that's around the middle.
Yeah,
like, standard.
A little bit of a bump.
I think like the only time you see
that
like in The Nun, the $22 million budget they had in the CGI at the end of it, like because it wasn't that good of CGI with her face melting.
Yeah.
That's the only time you really see the budget. Not being too.
That Nun seemed a lot scarier in The Conjuring 2 than it did now.
I think I said this to you, Jason, maybe, or maybe it was Matt when I was talking to him. But I think they showed too much of her. Like I like it when they would give you a reveal and show it, but if you show it too much, it loses its scariness.
I think that's why I wasn't so into it.
Like there's the end.
Way too much Nun.
That scene at the end, right before it dies or whatever, gets sucked back into Hell's vagina. Like it literally showed us a solid 20 seconds, the camera not moving off of her or something. It's just it just becomes not scary.
It's not scary.
Can you look up who played the Nun? I have a feeling it was Flamingo's older sister.
That would be hilarious.
I want to know now.
You think it looked like her?
A little bit. And if memory serves me correctly.
I'm gonna say it wasn't, only because I feel like that's something that people would be talking about.
Yeah. Fair enough.
No, it was Bonnie Aarons.
And it seems like, why would you pay for such a big name actress to
just to mock her up?
Yeah, so people don't even know who it is.
Right.
Well, I mean, yeah.
Okay, so that was The Nun. We all agreed, not a good movie. Probably not even really worth seeing it. But unless you're a fan, I will say this: unless you're a fan of cheap scares, because that's how a lot of people this is made for a very normal general audience.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Did you notice that someone brought their 9-year-old kid to that movie?
Oh yeah, there was kids screaming and stuff before the movie started.
And I'm
but
pretty
they
sure
weren't screaming during the movie. That's how bad of an R-rated scary movie it was.
Also,
it was rated R.
Yeah, it was rated R. Yeah, what the fuck was that? It had maybe 2 scenes with blood in it.
Yeah, who was I talking to? Maybe it was you.
Yeah, you and I were talking about that.
I think they must have really pushed for the R rating because they knew it would attract more people, but it wasn't deserved.
No,
they should have just made for PG-13. To be honest.
What the first Conjuring, was that PG-13 or
that was R. I know that was R.
Hell yeah, that was scary as hell. People make fun of the clapping part, but that was really creepy for me. Oh, I have that story about.
The story. Go ahead.
So I remember when the first one came out because Mikey and I were super hyped to see it.
Right.
It looked really good. The trailer only showed the one part with the clapping, but it had a little bit more in the movie. So that was probably the most attractive part of the trailer. So I remember we had plans to go see it before going to the Torbeck's party. But you didn't wake up. So I went and saw it by myself that day. And it was me, some dad, and his son are the only 3 people in the theater. And I sat like 7 rows above them. So I'm in this dark, cold theater at Pierce Point with 2 other random people that are pretty far away from me, witnessing this movie by myself, scared to death. And then I remember going to the Torbex party and talking about it, and you were like, yeah, I slept through. I meant to wake up, I slept through my alarm. And they were like, oh, let's go watch it again. And I was like, okay. And I saw it twice that day. But I just remember being there by myself.
Just scared
'Cause I was
shitless, like
really
nobody
into this
around,
movie.
like.
Yeah, oh yeah, no, like I said at the beginning, this movie was the first one to scare me to almost the same degree as The Exorcist to
Right.
an 11-year-old child living in bumfuck nowhere, Maine.
All right. So I guess this goes ahead and concludes our podcast for the day.
Yeah, this is gonna be our first one. So.
Yeah, this is gonna be our first one. Our next podcast, I'll go ahead and give a little hint to this. You know, it's gonna be a little predatory
Oh my god.
because we're watching The Predator.
Jesus. I didn't think they could put that together.
Oh yeah. So that'll be the next episode. Is we're gonna be doing The Predator. So thank you very much for listening. Remember to like and subscribe. You know, do some comments. Tell us how you guys liked or something, and blah blah blah. You know, have yourself a good night.
We'll see you next time.
Bye. Heath, have you seen Hereditary?